Hi, welcome to 544 Nonprofit Management. I'm excited about week one. This is kind of where we begin to lay the foundation. We start to talk about the role of the nonprofit organization. And it's important for us to start here because we have to determine what a nonprofit organization is. What does that look like? Because it's very different than the for-profit world. For-profit world, as we know, has a lot of different layers to it. Nonprofit world doesn't have as many layers to it. It's pretty standard. So we're going to talk about this week and get you to uncover and discuss a lot of different factors about this. So one of the things I wanted to do is just kind of go through a few points that both Crutchfield and Heyman lay out, and then some other kind of key things that I think will be good for you to understand as you move forward, not only for this week, but into the kind of the bulk of the course as we get midway through this course, and we really are challenging you to uncover kind of what your view on nonprofit world is, kind of where you see yourself landing, what your vision and passion is. So we need to start kind of at the baseline. So that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to kind of start at the baseline. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can get started on what we want to do here. Bear with me. There we go. So we're going to do, what I want to go over first is kind of the role and value of nonprofit organizations. Now, this can vary many times depending on what nonprofit you find yourself in, what area you find yourself in. But for the most part, most of them have kind of the baseline values and tenets. So as we kind of go through this slide, let's go through a couple of these. The first and foremost is we've got to define what nonprofit work is. Nonprofit work is basically an expression of private action for common good. So what kind of makes a difference between profit and nonprofit work is that in nonprofit work, there's more of an expression. There's more, a little bit more of your emotion, a little bit more of your passion caught up in this. And what you're looking for in nonprofit work is you're looking to express a private action, something that is more private, not quite as public, obviously. And it's for a common good. So at the end of this, there's some sort of good that you want to accomplish, some sort of change that you might want to elicit. So when we define nonprofit work, we start with an expression of private action for common good. This is going to be good for you as you get into doing your course project, because you're going to have to express what your personal mission statement is. What are your values? What are the things that drive you? What are the things that move your heart? What are the things that make you sad? What are the things that make you happy or angry, or where you see injustice in the world or injustice in areas and you want to go out and do something about it? So the first definition of nonprofit work is the expression of private action for common good. The second is a driver of social change. Nonprofit work is all about driving social change. So for me, as the executive director for Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Atlanta, I'm looking to drive social change in schools, social change on campuses, social change through coaches and athletes. And the social change is done for us through the gospel. And that's what brings about true transformational change. So when we talk about driver of social change, nonprofit work is a driver. It is a mechanism. It is something that's pushing social change into action. And then it's transformational in mission. So the mission of nonprofit work is to bring about transformation, right? The Bible says the old is gone, the new has come. So that's what nonprofit work is. It's about transforming cultures. It's about transforming ideas. It's about transforming decision-making, transforming the way things have been done into a new way, a new, more beneficial way, a common good way. And then fourthly, it leads cultural expression. What nonprofit work allows us to do is it allows us to lead a different expression within the culture. There's a different language. There's a different mentality. There's a different way that people begin to see the culture. Maybe it expands their view in race relations, or it expands their view in the reality of things that exist that maybe they didn't know exist. And then it gives people the opportunity to express into the culture the things that need to change, the things that need to transform. So those are kind of some 4 really quick baseline things. And again, Heyman and Crutchfield do a great job, I feel like, in these first few chapters that you have to read this week of really defining nonprofit work. So I'm encouraging you to really go through those chapters so that you can better define that. The value of nonprofit work, we've got to talk about that because that's extremely important. What is the value of nonprofit work? I think nonprofit work many times is kind of looked at, I don't know, maybe not through the same light as profit work. Nonprofit work is looked at as, oh, that's sweet and nice, but there's a great value in culture for that. And the first is it provides broader opportunities. So nonprofit work, you not only have more opportunities to do things because you see more need in the world, you kind of are at a 30,000 foot view as opposed to on the ground, which for-profit many times is on the ground, just kind of dealing what's in front of them. Nonprofit work allows you to get above that. It allows you to see the broader opportunities that are out there. It provides opportunities for personal impact. So you're going to work on a personal mission statement. And part of that is going to allow you to uncover the personal impact you can make. And so nonprofit work allows us to go beyond just the X's and O's or the profit and loss, but it allows us to see opportunities that we can be impacted personally, and then we can impact others personally. To me, there's no greater win for me in my life when I see personal impact. And nonprofit work allows that and creates opportunities for that. Another value of nonprofit work is to further solidify freedom of expression. What nonprofit work allows people to do, it allows us to go on what this country is really built on, the freedom of expression. We get to express the things that hurt us, the things that we're upset about, the injustice in the world. We're able to express those. We have the freedom to do that, and it solidifies our stake in that. And then lastly, it's evolutionary over revolutionary change. So it's evolutionary in the fact that it just grows. A lot of nonprofit work out there that you'll see, it grows over time. So it starts as maybe an idea or a passion or your heart's been moved, and evolutionary, you see it grow step by step by step. Whereas revolutionary change is kind of this boom effect, and it just kind of happens. Evolutionary change happens over time. And that's what nonprofit work does. That's the value of it, is that it never really ends. Because usually whatever you're moved by, whatever your heart is moved by for whatever your nonprofit work's going to be, it's never going to change. It's never going to end. Like, you're never going to more than likely solve the issue that's out there. You're going to only help to bring awareness. You're going to help to maybe organize more awareness towards that, or create broader opportunities to help, lessen the negative impact and bring more of a positive impact into it. So the value of nonprofit work is so important. It's so valuable, and it's important for us to understand that. I just want to go through these real quickly. These are Crutchfield's kind of 6 factors of impactful nonprofits. I encourage you to read these. These are going to be important for you to have in your final course project because I think they help kind of give you a roadmap to where you want to go. So let's just go through these real quick. The first is advocate and serve. Impactful nonprofits advocate and serve. So they advocate for something. All right, they advocate for something that needs to be done, and then they serve others, and they serve that. So they just don't advocate. They just don't say, hey, there's a problem, and do nothing about it. They actually serve to a greater solution to whatever that problem or whatever that opportunity might be. It makes markets work. What does that mean? Well, what Crutchfield talks about is there's a collaboration. It makes all kinds of markets work. Nonprofit work brings markets together. It brings different areas together. You might find yourself in your nonprofit work partnering with other organizations, partnering with people that do other things. It kind of makes the market world work. It helps solve issues and problems that other maybe profit organizations don't have the time or the resources to do. It inspires evangelists, so it gets more people on board. It inspires this evangelist mentality where we go out and we make change and others come and be a part of that. It nurtures nonprofit networks. So what impactful nonprofits do is it actually nurtures more nonprofits. There's more nonprofits born out of nonprofits. So as you might find that your passion is in one area, your nonprofit may begin to uncover other areas that other nonprofits can be born out of. Impactful nonprofits master the art of adaptation. This is so critical. Impactful nonprofits are able to adapt to as society changes. They're able to see something that's happening and then it moves maybe in a different direction or goes in a different course. And impactful nonprofits are able to adapt. I call it agility. Nonprofit work is all about agility, man, because it changes and regulations change and laws change and finances change and the culture changes, whatever might change, governments change. You've got to be agile. You've got to be able to adapt to that change probably more readily than profit work has to do. And then finally, it shares leadership. Nonprofit work is all about building boards. It's about putting people in the right roles. It's about building volunteer bases. And it's about pushing leadership down. Whereas profit work is a lot about pushing leadership up. It's top-down leadership. Within nonprofit work, it's about shared leadership. It's about collaborative leadership. It's about people working together. And as you're doing your readings and the articles that I've provided for you, and as we get more into this and you begin to figure out a structure to put your boards together and your volunteers together and getting people in the right roles as you kind of build your nonprofit organization, you're going to see the importance of sharing leadership and not taking all the responsibility on as the primary leader. So those 6 factors are great. I think it's important that we see the importance of reading through those. I think Crestfield does a great job of explaining that. Basically, their book is just kind of goes through those 6 factors. So anyways, week one's going to be great. Take your time. Make sure you plan your time really well. Spend some time on the discussion questions and really allow yourself to think through and make sure that you're documenting all your research. We don't want as much your opinion as we want, kind of your thoughts and those backed up by, some academic sources and your reading. So week one's going to be great. I'm excited to get started and God bless and good luck through this course.